check out my Instagram, kvdanger.youtube. Some updates and cool pictures of this truck and other stuff there. And I'm doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. What I give away, it's going to be around $200-300, possibly a camera, gift card. So make sure you subscribe to help us get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Let's get into the video. Over here on paper. What? What? He's on a bicycle. He's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. We're like almost 100 kilometers out from the nearest city. And that way is a whole lot of nothing. I don't know where he's going. I figured it was story time. While we have pavement, I'm gonna tell you guys a little anecdote. That's something that recently happened to me. I almost had a near-death experience, and I'm not joking about that. The shit was weird. So, me and my uncle, we went out fishing. It was commercial fishing for codfish out in a boat, like a 18-foot boat. And anyways, we had a BRP, Evinrude motor on the back. It was a 65. And you know, BRP, I should have known what was going to happen then. This evening, like, we wait for the wind to die down, and he wanted me to help him haul one of his nets, haul it up out of the water, get the fish. And I said, oh yeah, that's all good. Nothing wrong with that. So we go out, and the wind starts picking up. Now, when I say the wind starts picking up, I mean, like, the waves were big. I mean, the waves were to the point where when you're at the bottom, when you're in the trough of one, you can't see anything but water. And that was kind of weird. And we're right beside a place called Lewis's Rock, and that's where, like, the water just breaks up on top of it. It's a shoal. It's weird. So it's a weird place, and these waves were just huge. So anyways, so we get the net hauled, and I mean, like, I'm working hard trying to haul this thing up. There's a lot of net there, and there's a lot of fish in it. We had about 800 pounds in it. It was crazy. And anyway, so my uncle's there picking the fish out of it, and I'm hauling the net. And anyways, I'm pretty beat out. And full disclosure, I was starting to get a little sick. It was just rough, and looking down to the water at the fish, I don't know, I don't usually get sick, but today I was, just a little bit. So anyways, we get that hauled up. It takes about like 45 minutes. It feels like 3 hours, but we got it done. And then that's it, right? We're good. We go home. Nothing to it. It's like a half an hour boat ride, then we're back home. Nope, not that day. We were about halfway back when anyways, the motor kind of sputtered. So, like, there's no big deal. I mean, the motor isn't one of the best motors, and so it just sputtered, and he checks the gas tank, and maybe he should have changed it, but we just kept going. And anyways, so 10 minutes later, we had forgotten about this little incident. After that, all's well, and then about halfway home, at the, like, or just like a bit more than halfway, at the worst possible place to stop, the motor cuts out. Motor dies. Dead. Just done. No more. Okay, screw this. You're stranded now. Basically just opted out. Done. And anyways, we figured it was out of fuel, so no big deal, right? So he went, changed the tanks, put a new tank on it, and anyway, so my uncle has like a medical problem, like a pinched nerve or something, and he doesn't have the strength he used to. So anyways, he gets me to haul the motor over. I haul on that piece of shit so many times. I mean, I'm talking like probably 15, 16, 20 times. And now while I'm hauling on this, like, you know, like the first haul, second haul, third haul, it's an E-Tech. E-Techs, usually what that means is that first haul or second haul, it starts. If it doesn't start by the third haul, there's something wrong with it. And my uncle's, they're saying, well, when it runs out of fuel, it's a bitch to start. And so anyways, I'm hauling on it and hauling on it. The wind's picking up. The waves are coming in over the back of the boat because they're so big. And I can barely stand up. I'm beat out from hauling the net. I'm hauling on this motor over and over and over, and holy shit. The rocks are getting closer. And I mean, when you can start seeing little droplets of water crashing up hundreds of meters onto the rocks, you know you're getting a bit too close. So anyways, I gave it my last, like everything I had for about 5 hauls, and no way would it start. Anyways, we were a good 70 feet from the rocks at this point, and by the way, the rocks are death. Like, the rocks, when you get to the rocks, you're done. You're out, because the boat, when the waves would wash up, it'd wash away, and then it'd push back up onto the rocks. So the boat would get caught in there, everything would be smashed to pieces, and only if you were lucky would you survive and get on top of the rocks. So, and even then, like, what the hell are you supposed to do? Walk home? So, I mean, this was not good. This was not okay. Ditched a motor, actually, and like, not having a motor this close to the rocks is bad. It's bad. Go up. My uncle grabs a shovel to start paddling, and I go for the grapeline, the anchor. And of course, we're getting closer and closer to the rocks. I go to get the grapeline, it won't come out. It's tangled up. It's all up inside of the cuddy, and it just would not come out. What a mess. Like, I'm here like panicking almost. I don't mean I'm a calm person, but like, this was like, the rocks are there, we're like here, and oh shit, something needs to happen here. So anyway, so I grabbed the paddle and I just paddle like everything I have, and we managed to get like 10-15 feet away from the rocks, like 15 feet more away from the rocks, and I just go for the grapeline. I rip that thing out finally and throw it over, tie it onto the side of the boat. It's not long enough. The rope was not even long enough to reach the bottom. We're still drifting in onto the rocks, and the wind is gusting. Oh my god, like, my heart was pounding at this point. I didn't even know if we were gonna get out of it. It was bad. Grab the paddle again, I haul the grapeline back up, and we just, everything we have away from the rocks. And after like 5 or 10 minutes of just constant paddling, now mind you, this was after hauling up a cod net full of fish for 45 minutes, hauling over a big 2-stroke motor for like 15-20 times, and here I am paddling for my life basically. And about 15-20 minutes after, the wind kind of, like, let's say the rocks are here, we were here, and the wind was kind of going like that way. So as we paddled away from the land, the wind blew us sideways a bit, more shallow water that wasn't so close to the rocks, and we finally got the anchor hooked on. And at this point, we had made it. You know, we weren't gonna die anymore. No, no, no! I just wish they'd finish the roads here. It would be great. Yeah, that was a very scary experience. It ended up, we called for help a bunch of times, and finally we got a hold of someone, and they called someone back home and got someone to tow us home. The tow itself took about like an hour and a half, and at this point I was just sick, and I was tired. I just wanted to be home, man. Yeah, it was rough. We got towed home at about, I don't know, like something stupid like 2 kilometers an hour, and it took forever. I mean, it was only like a 10, 11, 12 kilometer trip, but I'm not sure how my storytelling is, but I wanted something to upload for today, and I was just driving all day, so I figured I'd tell you this story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was kind of fun. It was an experience. It was definitely an experience. It was a dumb thing to do. You should always have a spare motor or spare something. We were too close to land. As soon as that motor gave out, you know, we only had maybe 5 or 10 minutes to get the motor going or something. Probably like not even 10 minutes, like 8 minutes at most. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you know the drill. You guys have a good day. And we are back to the camp.